If you look at the satellite picture over Detroit and Windsor right now, you see two things. You see the Ambassador Bridge. It is old, very crowded, owned by a private company, and blocked up by trucks with two wheels. And then just down the river, you see the future. It is the Gordie Howe International Bridge. It is huge and shiny with 8 wide lanes made of concrete and steel. People said it would save the economy of North America. It was supposed to open next month. It was supposed to be the friendly agreement that locked in the deal between Canada and the United States for the next 63 years. But 59 hours ago, Donald Trump decided to change that friendly agreement into a hard punch. He did not just talk about adding taxes on goods this time. He said he would keep the gates shut. He posted on Truth Social at 3 a.m. Before we talk more, please subscribe and leave a comment. Tell us if you think Canada or the US has the real power here. Your likes and comments help keep this independent view going. He said the United States would not put workers at the customs area on the American side unless Canada agreed to a list of very hard requests. He thought he was putting a knife to Canada's neck. He thought Prime Minister Mark Carney would get scared, fly to Mar-a-Lago and give in completely. But that is not what happened. Carney did not go to Florida. He did not even speak loudly. He walked into a press room in Ottawa, looked straight at the camera, and used a tool that people in Washington did not even know about. If you thought the trade fight was frightening before, you need to see what just happened. Trump tried to trap Canada, but Carney did not look away. Now the results are going to affect every factory, every food store, and every gas station in America. In the next 47 minutes, I will explain exactly how this bridge turned into the most risky spot on Earth. I will show you the Option C paper that Carney just started using. I will tell you why the President of the United States is suddenly very quiet. Let us make sure everyone understands, because this happened quickly. For many years, the Gordie Howe Bridge has been getting close to being finished. It is a project that Canada mostly paid for with $9 billion to make sure trade keeps moving smoothly. It is the most important piece of building in the whole northern half of the world. Yesterday, they were almost ready to cut the ribbon for the opening. Then the message came. The White House sent a note to the Department of Homeland Security. It ordered them to stop sending any people to the new Gordie Howe entry point. In plain words, Trump is saying no to putting border officers in the small buildings. If there are no officers, the bridge cannot start working. If the bridge does not start, $7.8 billion in trade stays stuck at the old bridge. That is exactly what Trump wants. He wants to make a big problem, block the flow of goods, and then tell Canada, if you want this bridge to work, get rid of your dairy control system, stop all electric cars from China, and pay us a safety charge of $1,146 for each truck. It was a typical Trump trick. Make the trouble, then offer to fix it for a price. American news quickly put out stories. Trump stops the bridge. Canada faces big trouble. Trudeau would have given up. But Mark Carney is not Justin Trudeau. 3 hours after the White House note became known, Carney's office put out a short message. It did not name Trump. It did not talk about the requests. It just said the government of Canada is looking at how energy paths work in the Great Lakes area. That sounds dull, right? It sounds like boring office talk. It is not. It is a warning so clear and so strong that people on Wall Street took only about 12 minutes to understand it. Carney is not arguing about the bridge. He is warning that he could turn off the power in the Midwest. You are watching a card game where one person bets with game pieces and the other bets with the whole power system. For the first time in a long while, the man in the White House looks lost. You need to know why this bridge is so important and why Carney's answer scares the smart people in New York. I want to show you the proof right now. Proof 1, the tight spot. Look at the facts. The Windsor-Detroit area handles about 28% of all trade between the US and Canada. That means $438 to $982 million goes across that river every day. But it is not just things. It is how the things get made. A normal car piece, like a fuel part, a seat holder, or a gear for the engine, crosses the border up to 6 times before the car is complete. 6 times. If you stop that movement, or even slow it by 4 hours, the car-making lines in Michigan, Ohio, and Kentucky do not just slow, they stop completely. When Trump says he will keep the new bridge shut, he puts that whole system under pressure. He bets that Canada needs to sell those pieces more than America needs to buy them. Proof 2, the energy picture. This is the proof Trump did not look at. Carney's warning talked about energy paths. Here is what that means. Line 5. If you do not know Line 5, you will now. It is a very big pipe that moves crude oil and natural gas liquids from Western Canada through Wisconsin and Michigan to factories in Ontario. It also goes back into Michigan and Ohio. It gives 58% of all propane that Michigan uses across the state. It provides jet fuel for Detroit Metro Airport. It feeds the factories in Toledo that make gasoline for the Midwest. For years, the governor of Michigan tried to close it because of nature concerns. Canada fought hard to keep it open, using a 1977 agreement. Carney's quiet warning yesterday says maybe Canada does not have to keep fighting for Line 5. If Canada chooses to slow or stop the oil going into that pipe on their side, saying it is for market checks or supply rules, Michigan will run out of propane in 9 weeks. Toledo factories will have no more oil. Gas prices in the important states that Trump needs will not just rise. They will go up 4 times higher. Proof 3. How the markets reacted. Want to know who trusts Carney? Check the bond markets. The second the news came that Carney was looking at energy paths, the Canadian dollar did not fall. It actually went up a tiny bit. Why? Traders know Canada controls the raw materials. At the same time, future prices for heating oil in the Midwest jumped 7% in just 11 minutes. That is the market saying Trump is pretending, and Carney really holds the oil. Proof 4. The unions stayed quiet. This is the dog that did not make noise. Usually when Trump talks about protecting jobs, the Teamsters and UAW cheer first. Protect American work, close the border. Go look at their social media right now. Nothing. Why? The UAW knows the Gordie Bridge is not just a Canadian thing. It is a way for Detroit car companies to stay alive. They know if the bridge stays closed, Ford and GM will lose $6.22 billion to companies in Mexico and other southern places. They are quietly telling the White House right now to make a deal fast. And Carney knows this. So why is Trump trying this? And why is it getting out of his control so quickly? We need to look at how a bully thinks. Trump works with a simple plan. Put on as much pressure as possible. Wait for the other side to give up, take something from them, and say he won. He did it to Mexico with people crossing the border. He did it to NATO with money for defense. He tried it with Canada on aluminum taxes in his first time as president. But the world is different since 2016, and Canada is different too. Trump is losing his hold because he uses an old tool against a new kind of economy. He thinks the border is a door he can close. But the border is not a door anymore. It is like a computer connection. It is a pipe for energy. It is a fast delivery system that happens right when needed. When he says he will block the bridge, he thinks he stops Canadian wood and metal. He thinks he hurts other countries. But after 30 years of working together closely, he hurts his own people. If he blocks the bridge, the factory in Grand Rapids closes. The truck driver in Toledo has no work. The building site in Pennsylvania has no supplies. He hits himself and waits for Canada to feel pain. The reason he is scared, and you can see it in his wild posts and loud angry words about bad neighbors, is he now knows his power is not real. He cannot really handle a trade fight with Canada. Not at this moment. Not with prices high. Not with important elections soon. He needs low-cost energy. Canada has it. He needs metal for defense work. Canada has it. He needs special material for new nuclear power. Canada has it. Canada is not like China. We do not sell you cheap toys you can get from other places. We sell you the basic things your country runs on: energy, food, and minerals. Trump is used to countries that need his big buying market. He is not used to a country that controls his supplies. And he is really not used to a leader like Mark Carney. Let us talk about the man across from him. Mark Carney was once head of the Bank of Canada and head of the Bank of England. He is the one who handled the big money crisis for the G7 countries. This is not someone who acts in plays. This is not a regular politician who talks in short clips. Carney is a money expert. He thinks about risks, borrowing levels, and big system problems. When Trudeau dealt with Trump, he tried to be nice. He used old stories they shared. He gave pictures of his family. Carney sees Trump like a weak investment. Look at what Carney did not do. He did not insult Trump. He did not start big crowds against him. He did not talk about world rules, because he knows Trump ignores rules. Carney went right to the money facts. His plan is what army thinkers call uneven attack. Trump hits a picture, the bridge. Carney hits the whole system, the power network. Carney knows Trump lives for daily news wins. Trump wants a win right now. Carney plays for months ahead. He plays for the whole money year by warning about the energy paths. Carney aims at the big givers to the Republican Party, the oil companies, the fuel makers, the big shipping firms. He makes them call the White House. He puts the pressure on others to do it. He uses Trump's own friends against him. And there is more. It is about being in charge of your own country. For years, Canadian leaders feared being called against America. They were very careful. Carney seems to think the best way to help Canada is to stop worrying what the US president says. He is showing a huge change in how Canada deals with other countries. Some call it the Don Roe idea, like the US Monroe idea, but but turned around. The point is, we will sell to you. We will do business with you, but we will not let your inside problems hold us hostage anymore. If you shut the door, we find another way to Europe. If you block the bridge, we close the pipe. It is hard. It is planned carefully. And it is the first time a Canadian Prime Minister looked at an American president and said, "Go ahead, try me." So what does this mean for you? Maybe you are in Ohio, maybe in Alberta, maybe in California. This is not just a small argument between leaders. This is the end of the open border we always had. For 100 years we believed a story. The story said the US and Canada were almost the same place with different flags. The border was just a small line. That story ended this week. If this bridge fight keeps going, the border will get much harder to cross forever. That means car prices will rise and stay high. Gas prices in the Midwest will change a lot. Food costs, especially in cold months, will jump high on both sides. But the bigger meaning is about world power. If the United States cannot even open a bridge with its nearest friend, how can it guide the world? How can Washington ask Europe to trust it? How can it promise to help Taiwan? If they cannot put officers at a customs spot in Detroit just because the president wants a quick point, the time of American peace around the world is finished. You are seeing the US step back from leading the world to acting like a tough boss in its own area. And the sad part is the tough boss is failing. Mark Carney is giving the rest of the world a plan for how to deal with an America that is no longer in charge. You do not talk and give in. You protect yourself, build your own strength, and wait for them to give up. There was a moment yesterday that explains everything. News people saw Carney walking out of Parliament Hill. A reporter from Fox News yelled a question. He said, "Mr. Prime Minister, are you afraid President Trump will put a 33% tax on the bridge fees?" Carney stopped. He did not smile. He fixed his shirt cuff, looked at the reporter and said, "The bridge is finished. The concrete is hard now. We are going to open it. Whether the Americans choose to come to work is up to them." Then he got in his car. That is the feeling. We keep going. You can come with us or stay where you are. So what happens next? Time is running. The bridge is ready to use. Possibility A. The quiet give-in. People on Wall Street call the White House. Car company groups call the White House. They yell at Trump that he will start a money drop in Michigan just 3 months before big votes. Trump says he won. He claims Canada said yes to some hidden request. Maybe they agreed to buy more American fruit or something small. He posts great deal with Canada. Border officers quietly go to their spots. The bridge opens. Carney stays silent. He lets Trump take the pretend win but holds the real one. Possibility. The bigger fight, the risky way. Trump's pride wins. He feels bad from Carney's quiet. He pushes harder. He makes an order calling the bridge a danger to safety. He sends soldiers to block the roads leaving the US side. If that happens, Carney starts option C. Energy movement gets limited. The Canadian person in Washington gets called home to talk. The Canadian dollar drops a little, but the US Midwest economy stops hard. We enter a full trade war that makes the 1930s seem easy. Possibility C. The big change. This is the surprise one. Carney uses the trouble to tell everyone about a huge new business deal with Europe or China. It shows Canada will move away from the US for good. He says since the US is not dependable anymore, we focus on the Atlantic path. This would be a change for many years. It would mean Canada is basically ending the close tie. Right now, with no words from the White House, I think we go to possibility A. But with Trump, you never know when he will break everything just to make noise. This is real history right now. We used to think the Canada-US tie was like gravity. It was always there. It could not break. Donald Trump showed it can break. Mark Carney shows it can be used as power. The bridge is only metal and stone. But what is happening with it tells the story of a new world where the United States stands alone and Canada finally stands tall. I want to hear what you think. Is Carney taking a big risk with the US money, or is this the only way Trump listens? If you were Carney, would you stop the oil? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe and turn on notifications because if the bridge opens or stays shut, you will need to know what it does to your money next.